What is the evolution of the entrepreneur? I'm Nate. I'm the FitFutureMD. Upload every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Pick up that free copy of the workout and nutrition guide in the description below. I lost 30 pounds in 30 days. I'm the owner of Ensorsale.com. At Ensorsale, we believe in making the world a better place with one inspirational message at a time. So wear your inspiration today. Whatever saying or quote or person you look up to, put that on your t-shirt or your garment and, inspire others to do the same, right? So that's at Ensorsale.com. Take 20% off by using the code FitFutureMD. So started thinking about this, right? Like your goals change as you get older and you get wiser and as you become more successful, right? So when I started Ensorsale, let's say I came to Morehead, I had no job, no car, no money, no nothing, right? My wife, my girlfriend at the time, but my wife now said, oh, I want to move to the beach. Like, we're going to the beach every weekend. We're spending money down here. We might as well move here. Well, she was able to get a job here. So we're like, okay, well, I'll go do whatever until I find something down here. And that's fine, right? And so the first thing I was able to get was I walked 2 miles every day to a beach shop, right? For 4 hours a day. Only got a 4-hour shift, right? And that's where I learned about t-shirts and heat presses and stuff like that. I didn't really realize at the time, but that was kind of setting me up for starting my own brand, right? And flash forward now, I've gotten a municipal job and I've moved up in the city several times, right? Basically, not obviously this is not bragging or anything. It's just this is what happened, right? Like I started out as part-time and moved my way up to full-time and stuff like that. So, but basically, like the reason I went to medical school was one of the reasons was because I thought that doctors were rich, right? I saw them living in the big houses, driving the nice cars, and what I didn't realize was that, or at least at the time, because I had no financial, I basically been raised by, raised poor, right? And basically had no financial education, right? So, I didn't realize how much debt doctors were in, right? They were basically working as a slave, to their debt. And, and they were having to do things that I didn't necessarily agree with to pay off that debt, right? And, so your average doctor is $750,000 in debt before they see their first patient on their own. And they've wasted, between 11 to 13, 14, 15 years of their life training to be a doctor, right? So when I figured this out, I was like, well, that's not my goal here. If I really want to do this at a later time, then that'll be one thing. But I came from such a poor background, I just wanted to not be poor, right? That was like the original goal. Like, I just need something. I need to be able to eat. I need to be able to, drive around in the car. I need to have health insurance. Like, all these things all these things that, you know, I kind of take for granted now because I have them, but you know, you really don't think about stuff like that. But I really just wanted to eat, right? I wanted to, you know, my mom had been sick for a long time. Father had a heart attack, right? And you know, stuff like that. But I realized that, you know, most of these things are nutrition and you know, health, right? Chronic disease, most chronic disease is caused by nutrition. So obviously I'm still working on that part, but you know, so you know, I added that to my regimen. Before that, it didn't work out at all, right? You know, I didn't worry about what I was eating at all. I was just eating to eat, and so that was one thing. So that's kind of like the evolution, right? Well, I started making $11 on the street department, and instead of when I moved up, instead of moving up my lifestyle, you know, our lifestyle stayed the same, and I started putting money into my brand and basically believing in that I can do something bigger, right? That my voice out there could be bigger, and that I could show people that there is a way to get out of poverty, like, and that, you know, in my mind, obviously I believe that I'm special. I believe that I'm ordained by God to do great things, right? I was made in his image, right? And that's a mindset and a belief. And there's people out there that don't have that. And that's the first thing I say to people. Like, number one, you have to believe that God is, you're meant to do great things. And he's going to prepare you and shape you to do great things, right? So that's my little, you know, religious speech of the day. But just know that you can do great things, right? And so that's the first part, is you just have to believe it, right? So, you know, you've heard it, you got to believe to achieve, you know, all these, you know, so if you've never seen that before, and then all of a sudden you see all these inspirational quotes riding around your neighborhood, like this person's got invest to impress on them, or real winners bounce back, you know, what do these things mean, right? Well, to say that you've never lost before, like, that means you haven't taken a big enough risk, right? And when you take big risks, sometimes you lose, right? And real winners bounce back is basically saying, like, you don't give up if you lose, right? As long as you don't give up, you really never lost. And but this is also about financial education too, because you don't start businesses on debt, because that's when you can't bounce back, right? You have, you know, if you put up your personal credit for your business and then your business goes under, so do you, right? And that's what, you know, my father used to have a business, and when they closed it down, they had to go bankrupt because of that, right? Personally bankrupt. And that was one of the reasons, because of debt, right? So, you know, we want to avoid that. So especially in our first business, because most of the time our first business is not going to be the permanent business, because as an entrepreneur, you level up as you continue to get better and better and better at it, right? You know, some people, they don't ever level up. They stay the same, right? Well, that's really what Ensorsale is about. It's about being able to level up. It's about, you know, just because you start somewhere doesn't mean that's where you have to finish. Like, you know, I just visited my childhood home for the first time in probably 15 years. And, you know, all of a sudden, all this gratitude came to my heart, right? Because, you know, I realized where I came from, and what struggles we actually did go through, even though, you know, my mother was very, very tough and, you know, basically made it look easy most of my life, right? And, you know, hid the bad things that we were having to go through. and the things she was having to do to keep the lights on, to keep the water going, to keep food on the table, right? So that we could play sports and hopefully have a way out through sports. You know, obviously my brother went to Campbell, and, you know, he's very successful now as well. You know, and my mother sacrificed and kind of made that happen for us, right? But, you know, for instance, just to say one of her sacrifices, like, so if you got a chicken and she would eat what was left over, well, what would be left over in a chicken? The neck, right? Right? So she would eat the freaking neck and stuff like that, right? You know, just whatever was left over of the chicken, just so that we make sure that we were eating, we were strong, you know. And you go back and you think about stuff like this, and you're like, man, my mother wasn't crazy. She just believed in us, right? And, you know, that's one of the things I'm very grateful for, right? So, you know, make sure you thank your mother out there if she was a great mother. But yeah, as an entrepreneur, you kind of start leveling up and thinking about your bigger picture, like, because at first you're just trying to feed yourself or not be poor, right? And you get up into the middle class and you can say, oh, well, I'm comfortable here, I can stay here, or I can really look and see what God's purpose is for me, right? You know, so that's what Ensorsale is doing. Ensorsale is there to inspire the world with the messages on the t-shirts, right? So, you know, when it says wear your inspiration, that's what Ensorsale is. It's wearing your inspiration, so that you know wherever you started, you don't have to finish. Even if you're in the middle class and you start at the middle class, you don't have to finish in the middle class. You can finish in the rich and super rich if you choose to push. And you know, and it's really, and honestly, when you do it on the side, it's really not that difficult. You pick a top 3 and you get those top 3 done every day. You know, and honestly, sometimes those top 3 take forever. I've pressed t-shirts, you know, till 11, 12 o'clock at night, you know, on a Friday night, so that, you know, somebody could have them on Saturday, right? Let's say we're giving away t-shirts at the Marlins games right now, and you know, those t-shirts, I definitely, you know, stayed up late to press them because it's hot in the garage, right? And you don't want to be doing that during the day, so, you know, you might die out here in the summertime. So you know, you got to kind of do that stuff at night when it's cooler, right? Or early in the morning. So, but there's few sacrifices that you do to make stuff like this happen. But like I say, when you're an entrepreneur, you grow and you level up, right? And you can choose to grow and level up. You do that starting with your mindset. Secondary is your health. Like, if you're not healthy, you can't do anything. And you'll see that there's entrepreneurs that sacrifice their health so that they could get to the rich and super rich, right? And they end up having to spend all their money to stay alive, right? You know, I've, you know, been with people, you know, when I was a CNA, you know, I've been with people that were super rich, and it didn't keep them out of a nursing home bed, right? Because they let their health go to get rich. And so those are the first 2 things. Start with mindset, start with health. You know, if you have an idea, test the idea and see if it could have traction. And if it does, you know, put it on your top 3 list and get it rolling. I'm Nate. I'm the FitFutureMD. Shop at Ensorsale.com and wear your inspiration today. And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.